Hi everyone, and welcome to Dola's Creative TV channel. My name is Veronica Olivier and I am a mixed media artist. And welcome to my studio. Okay, so we are in a new week and I've been away for a couple of days, and this texture oil background I've done had some time to dry. I can feel, even though it's dry to the touch, I can feel that there are areas that still has wet paint underneath, and it is going to take some time for it to dry, but we are ready to remove the masking fluid. Okay, so because some of the thicker textured places that I painted is still not completely dry, it is going to rub off some of the color when I remove the masking fluid, but I'm not concerned about that because I'm going to paint over it. The reason why I use the masking fluid is because I don't want this texture to be on the flower petals. I don't want to paint over that texture, so I'm just going to, it is so easy to remove the masking fluid. You basically just start rolling it. Now I want you to, when you do texture over the masking fluid, I want you to be very careful, because sometimes when the paint dries too much or too hard, if you pull the masking fluid, this rubbery consistency that is dried, you might pull some of your paint off, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to continue. See there, I rubbed some of the wet paint on my canvas, but I'm not worried about that because I'm going to paint over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue rolling this masking fluid and making sure that I don't pull. I've got a lot of wet paint here. I just want to make sure that I remove masking fluid and not the actual paint. So I'm going to continue doing this off camera and show you the result once I'm done, because it's going to take me a few minutes, probably 30 to 40 minutes to remove it. I'll be back just now. Okay, so we are going to start with the center of the Protea, and I want to create a lot of texture in the middle. So I'm going to mix my oil paint with impasto medium in order to create texture, and I am just going to mix some white and some raw sienna into the impasto medium to paint the center. I am just going to use the tube wringer to push all the oil paint to the front, so it's easier to get out of the tube. I am applying a thick layer of paint to the center of the Protea with a palette knife, and I am just switching between the white that I mixed and a little bit of raw sienna that I mixed into some of the white to create depth, and I am just going to apply to the middle to create textures later. Using my palette knife, I'm just going to create some texture in the center of this Protea to represent the stems on the inside. This came out perfect. I love the texture, the rough texture. It represents the inside of a Protea perfectly. And we are going to wait for this to dry before we add shadows to create depth in the center of this Protea. Okay, today I'm also going to start painting the leaves and the stem, but I'm just going to apply the first layer of oil paint, and I'm going to mix olive green, sap green, and I'm going to add raw sienna to my tear-off palette. I've put some odorless spirits into my cup to rinse off my brush, and we are just going to add green to the leaves for the first layer of this painting. Okay, so I'm going to start painting the leaves and the stem, and this is just the first layer. I just want to get some green onto the canvas. I'm not going to be too concerned about blending or textures or anything. I am simply using two different greens and a little bit of raw sienna to make sure that I define the different leaves, and next time when I paint I know exactly where what leaf is and what shapes they are. I am just using darker greens where I know that the shadow is falling on the leaves, and I'm just mixing a little bit of the white into the areas where the light is catching, just so that I can see or define the different leaves next week when we work on this painting again. Okay, so I'm going to stop here today because I want the paint to dry first before I start blending and adding textures. And then the inside of this flower also needs to dry before we paint the pink petals. I hope you've enjoyed painting with me. Like I said in my first videos, it's been a while since I used oil paints. I've never painted with a palette knife before, so this is also a learning curve for me, and we're experimenting together, and I hope you had fun, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.